Alright everybody, this is Caro Kann Adventures episode 6. It's been 2 years since I posted a video. It's been a while, and I haven't been playing a whole lot. I've just been working a lot, and I've been sick a bit, and so I just haven't had a whole lot of chess in the last year or so. But I'm trying to play a little bit some more, and so when I have good games I'll post them. Here's one on Caro Kann. I like this 2 knights opening for white. The book move here is g4, bishop g4, and then trading here. I don't like it because this pawn can harass my knight. I have to hop back, and I start feeling really cramped. And I don't like to play very cramped Caro Kann. I know at higher levels you kind of forced into playing cramped as black, but I tend to play it as a more of an open game. I avoid playing that g4. I like to just put the pressure on my opponent instead. In general, I want my opponents to be reacting to my threats instead of me having to react to theirs all the time. I'm a good defensive player. But I really am trying to be more aggressive and to branch my game out into maybe sharper variations. So here you can see I've got a nice strong pawn center. I'll be able to play my pawn out to e5 relatively soon and get some things going. I'll develop this knight first to prepare that pawn move. You can see he doesn't want me to get e5 in, and so he pins my knight to my king. I'm going to use my queen here on b6, which is a square I use often for my queen in the Caro Kann. It's a good square. It eyes as b2 pawn, and usually it points at center pawns there on d4 and whatnot. So it's a good square for my queen. I don't mind having it developed this early. I'll force him to a decision. Now he's traded off a bishop for a knight. Oftentimes it's the other way around. It's me losing a bishop for a knight in the Caro Kann, so it's kind of nice to have the 2 bishop advantage. This knight move doesn't really accomplish anything. I've got good squares for my queen on c7. I use f6 instead to put some pressure on his king side. He's got to move that knight, and when he does jump it out, I can go ahead and get my pawn moved in. Now I've opened up diagonals for my bishops. I'm going to play my king side knight all the way out to c6. So here we go. I don't like this pawn move at all. c2 here is or c3 is a weakening. It weakens his d3 square. That's going to be a target I'll exploit relatively soon. He's hoping, I'm not sure what he's hoping. I guess he just wants to bust my pawn center a little bit. I imagine he's hoping I did something like this. This would have been great for black too. This would have been fine. I chose instead just to play bishop to e7, prepare for a castle, and I can trade this way and open up the c file. I still got a better pawn center than his, and I like the position a lot. This is good for black. It's not bad for white either. I mean, you can see white's got, he doesn't really have a development lead at this point. He's just kind of sitting around. Okay, he played b3 here. This is another kind of weak pawn move. I'm going to castle. And then my opponent, I don't know why he does this, but he forces a bishop trade when he's already, there's only bishop left, he's going to lose it. So we trade bishops here. Now I've got the only bishop on the board. It's light square, which is great for my pawn structure. Usually a light square bishop's your bad one in the Caro Kann. I usually try to get it out to g4 or f5 quickly in the Caro Kann and then play, pawn to e6 or something. But my bishop's strong, and he doesn't have any bishops left. His knights are going to prove uncoordinated. This one's out on the rim of the board. This one's in kind of an awkward square. It's not going to turn into anything good. Alright, this is another bad move. There's no good reason to harass my queen this way. I've got good squares. I could play him back this way. I could play her, back to d8. I chose to play to g5 instead to put pressure on that knight, and I saw a tactic here. My opponent missed it. He was hoping that I was going to trade, bishop for knight, and then we both are out of bishops, and he's got a decent center here, and I would have a much harder time exploiting this weak pawn. I'm not doing that. There's a piece to win here. I can double attack here on his queen and his knight. You see if he just moves his queen out of the way, then I can just snap that knight off the board and I win a piece. That's not what he played here. Instead he played f4. Now anywhere leading up to these moves, f4 was a good move for a long time here. Okay, so here he actually played f4. I got a couple of options. One is just to use my queen to snap the knight off the board. He's got to move his queen, and I've got a nice material lead. I've got super strong diagonal here. I'm going to put a lot of pressure on his king side. and g6, or I'm sorry, f6 would have been great. This is a great position for black. That was one option. What I chose to play instead was bishop takes queen, and after pawn takes queen, bishop takes knight. I figured I'm a little rusty. I haven't played much chess in the last year or two, and I thought it'd be better for me to simplify when I'm trading material and be up a piece with no queens on the board than it would be to keep the queens. I was afraid I was going to miss a tactic because I'm rusty. A couple of good squares for my knight here, or for my rook here. D8 is one. I played rook to E8 instead. Now it seems kind of bad at first glance because it allows his knight to hop in here, and it looks like he might be able to win the exchange. But you can see that with my bishop being able to penetrate up here to E2, threatening his rook. If he just went ahead and took my rook, I could take his. We could both recapture with kings, and I'm still up a piece, and that's fine. He didn't win any material. Instead, when he plays rook f to e1, then I can play bishop takes d3, and then after we exchange here, you can see now that I'm up 2 minor pieces and a pawn for a rook, which is just great. I'm completely happy with this position. I don't mind him having 2 rooks because they're still way back there in the back. My pieces are pretty well coordinated. I got nice pawns in the center, so black's got a very, very nice lead here. Couple of options here. Bishop takes e4 would have been a great one if I'd seen it. You can see when his rook recaptures here, then I can fork his king and his rook, and it's pretty much a good game from here. What I played instead was rook to e6. I was preparing to move my rook out to c6 and try and control that space over there, maybe trade down a little bit more. He got to penetrate in with rook to c8 and then snap off a pawn, which is totally fine, because now my knight up here on c2 is strong. I don't mind this rook where it's at now. When another pawn here, I'm still doing just absolutely fine. I've got 2 strong passed pawns connected in the center here. This should be pretty easy to queen if I get it going. Rook e7 would have been great here. It pretty much forces a trade. If he doesn't trade, he has to go to f8. I can start pushing this pawn, solidify my pawns a little bit, and then move my rook behind my passed pawn. I can get my bishop back and threaten that square there, and then I should be able to win. Instead, let's see, where did I go back? Okay. I went ahead and played my rook over to g6. Centralize my king. My rook is now defending my pawn over here. It gets a little hairy here. I'm actually still fine. I didn't lose anything here. It looks like there might be mates coming soon if I'm not careful. You can see his king covers me here. I got kind of nervous if I was to play a wrong move. I mean, this is a mate, and I didn't want to step into a mate, especially if you look at this clock here. Let's go back a few moves. At this point, we're even. We both have 3 minutes left on our clock. My opponent took over a minute to make this move, and then over a minute to make this move. So he loses 2 out of his 3 minutes in 2 moves. There's lots of room for me to blunder here, and I imagine he maybe thought he had a force mate. There's a couple of good ways out of this. I didn't choose the best way. I chose a bit of a weaker way. When I get to this position, all I need to do here was check him with f5. And then when his or his rook captures, then I can fork. And I'm doing just great. I can even capture a check here. And again, game over. I'm up 2 minutes in time. I've got a rook and 2 passed pawns. This is going to be pretty easy to win. I missed the move with bishop to f5 here, and I realized that with the amount of time left on the clock, I could probably just trade and stall, and I'd be just fine. What I chose to play was rook to b7. I sacrificed a rook. Here, knight to e3 check would have been great, and then once he moves his king, we do this. Now check this out. At this point, d3 works. If he tries to defend, d2 works, and if he even tries, I mean, at that point he has to take, and then I can fork him, and it's game over. I didn't play the knight check. I just traded here, and then played the knight check. Same tactic applies here. I mean, we're in the same position either way. My problem is that once he played here, I didn't see the move d2 would win. Again, I'm just rusty. Made a lot of mistakes in my game. I just chose to play e4 and tighten up these pawns, and then I'm still looking just fine. At this point, 36 seconds on his clock and 2:15 on mine. I knew I could just win on time, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've said this before, but I totally don't mind winning on time. If I played good enough moves that my opponent had to use a lot of time to find the counter, then I'm playing good chess, and so winning on time is just fine. So here I just kind of make moves to simplify, and you see 20 seconds now on his clock, 15 seconds, 11 seconds, and none of these moves really matter. I was just kind of making relatively random moves, trying to finish him out, and there we go, I finished out on his time. So it was a good win with the Caro Kann. It was fun. I was glad that some tactics worked out in my favor, and I found some good moves. I had a lot of fun playing it. Please leave me comments, let me know if you're enjoying my videos, and maybe I'll be motivated to make some more. And if you're new, please check out my channel. I've got some fun videos with a stalemate with 10 knights, and a bunch of Caro Kann videos, and some semi-slot videos, and things like that. My Trap in the Queen's Gambit video has got something like 50,000 views or something. So anyways, thanks for watching. Leave me some comments, please subscribe, and have a good one.